Hi, I'm Bob Radocy. I'm here at my home in Berthoud, Colorado, and I'm just going to take you through a few steps of manipulating a table saw, try to illustrate the values of a voluntary closing device, how it can be used, how it's used safely. I'm going to go through and run some wood here and show you how I do it, and you can learn by that example as to how these things work, how they can work for you. Next, I'm going to show you how I use a fence for ripping wood. This fence locks down. I'm going to set it up to cut approximately half this 2x4 in half, maybe a little bit less. Lock it down like that. Always wear safety glasses. Always use a push stick when you're dealing with ripping wood like this. So I'm going to turn this saw on. And then go ahead and start to rip this wood. As we get closer to the end, I'm going to use this push stick to keep my fingers out of the way. One of the reasons that I like voluntary closing body-powered prostheses is because I have gripping control and gripping force. So I can handle something like a stone chisel with security and safety. I've got over 100 pounds of gripping power in this portion of this grip device. It gives me the ability to maintain control over this stone chisel, which is coming under a lot of force, as you can see. So that's one of the more valuable things about a working tool like a Grip Prehensor that's voluntary closing, is that I'm creating the prehension, I'm holding on, and I can feel how much tension I'm actually creating with it. It gives me the ability to control that chisel, this hammer, and get something done like I'd like to have it done. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Colorado, and I'm going to show you how I can use this voluntary closing Grip Prehensor. I can use it in a couple ways when I'm using a grass trimmer. I can consciously hold on to it if I want, but for convenience sake, I can also use this little Sherlock mechanism on the side of my arm, which allows me to engage that handle and not have to maintain cable tension in my harness system. You know, a lot of things that we do in day-to-day life require two-handed control, two-handed manipulation. And a prosthesis can help you with that. A voluntary closing prosthesis has some significant advantages. As an example, I can grasp and hold this throttle system closed. I'm going to go ahead and start this mower and show you how this all works. I've got to maintain that closed while I pull on this. Releasing the throttle, of course, shuts the engine down. Let me do that for you one more time. Having a prosthesis that gives you voluntary closing like this allows me to control and feel what's going on, allows me to manipulate this machine more safely. I can actually control the direction and the push of it. It's not a self-propelled machine. I can do that one-handed with my prosthesis. I have the option of locking onto this handle if I want for certain kinds of things. I can lock on and release off depending on what I'd want to do. But for the most part, when I handle a machine like this, I like to leave that lock off, and I feel it's a safer way to go. So I'm going to start this one more time for you. I'm holding on to and keeping this throttle system closed with this Grip Prehensor, and we're ready to go. I talk a great deal about the use of two-handed control and manipulation. This is another good example of where a prehensor, a voluntary closing prehensor, gives you that kind of control. Makes your life easier for certain tasks. I'm going to drag this hose out here. I've got a hold of it with the prehensor. Plenty of grip. I can pull it under significant load. I'm going to drag it out here, throw it down. Then I just want to show you exactly how easy it is to manipulate and lay this hose down. So again, using two-handed control of the prehensor, I'm gonna coil. You can see it's a very natural motion to coil this hose back in place using a voluntary closing prehension. It follows the biomechanics of my movement. So manipulating hose like this and throwing it down, placing it becomes very natural. I'm illustrating here how I can use a Grip Prehensor like this, and I can free up my other hand and I can actually maintain control over this hose. I can water these flowers with the prosthesis just as easily as you see I'm doing it right here. This is a good illustration of the kind of power and control I have to be able to handle a pick like this and grasp it and control it. Probably weighs 15 pounds. I've got complete power and control over the handle. Gives me the ability to dig with this pick, just like that. Similarly, in using hand tools, requires two-handed control. Shovel like this, you might be digging with your foot, you might be digging with just your arms, but using a voluntary closing device like this gives me the strength to grip that handle, gives me the control over the handle that I need so that I can do pretty rigorous yard work like this and handle these kind of loads with control. This is a tool called a hound dog. It's kind of like a little manual tiller. What I wanted to illustrate is just how easy it is for me to use it. I'm grabbing on with this grip device and it gives me all the kind of control that I need over a tool like this. Similarly, if I need to use some type of a rake, you need a lot of control. You need power. You need to be able to dig into the soil and maintain strength. You need power to dig in, and you need gripping force on the tool. And this kind of a prosthesis, body powered, works exceptionally well in doing just that kind of activity. If you like to do a lot of home maintenance projects and maintain your yard and home like I do, again, having a body-powered prosthesis gives you that kind of capability. I'm just going to illustrate here how, again, I have this very, very good controlled two-handed capacity with this kind of a device. I can trim these low-hanging branches with really no problem at all, as you can see right here.